Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution sounds. While they're standing in the welfare line, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment line, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sound. Poor people gonna rise up, get their share. Poor people gonna rise up and take what's there. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. Finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about the revolution. It's finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about the revolution. Talking about a revolution, while they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about a revolution sounds. Talking about a revolution. It's finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Oh no. Talking about a revolution. Oh no. Talking about a revolution. Oh no.
Hello, my name is Gregory Kennedy-Salemi.
The documentary that you are about to see was created in order to provide you with a look inside of IFOR, the International Fellowship of Reconciliation, and IFOR's sister organizations, known as FOR in the USA and Internationale Versöhnungsbund in German-language countries. Since 1915, IFOR activists and members have carried out campaigns and educational projects advocating demilitarization, racial and economic justice, and the peaceful resolution to conflict. IFOR activists and members have played a central and vitally important role in the global spread of active nonviolence. IFOR activists and members come from a wide variety of cultures, backgrounds, and spiritual beliefs, including Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, and people of other faith traditions, as well as those with no formal religious affiliation. The list of IFOR activists is too extensive to detail during this introduction. However, some of you may be familiar with a few of IFOR's more well-known activists, such as James Lawson, Thich Nhat Hanh, Richard Dietz, Jean Goss and Hildegard-Goss Mayr, and IFOR's Nobel Peace Prize winners Mairead Corrigan Maguire, Adolfo Perez Esquivel, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This documentary film will begin with an interview that I conducted in March of 2003 in Vienna, Austria, with the Austrian peace activist Hildegard-Goss Mayr. Hildegard-Goss Mayr experienced firsthand the destruction and horrors of war growing up as a young child during World War II in Vienna, Austria. Hildegard and her late husband Jean Goss were awarded the Bruno Kreisky Prize for outstanding achievements in the area of human rights in 1979. In 1991, Hildegard was awarded Japan's Niwano Peace Prize. Hildegard and Jean were nominated 3 times for the Nobel Peace Prize, and they traveled the world devoting their lives to peace work and nonviolent activism. Hildegard-Goss Mayr, Jean Goss, and Richard Dietz of IFOR USA also played a key role in training and educating the people of the Philippines in their people power, nonviolent struggle, revolution, and ultimate victory in removing the Ferdinand Marcos regime from power during the 1980s. For me personally, it was a true honor to spend time interviewing Hildegard concerning the topics and issues raised in the film. She is a brilliant, humble, and truly inspiring example of nonviolent activism. What exactly is IFOR, and what is IFOR's primary purpose?
Well, the International Fellowship of Reconciliation started already 80 years ago during the First World War, when Christians from Germany and several European countries, at the outbreak of that war, decided that for them it was impossible to use war and violence in order to solve political conflicts that arose, or power conflicts that arose. So it is an anti-war movement, but also to the same extent a peace-building service. And it exists in about 40 or 45 countries all over the world and on all continents. Was a Quaker in England and a Protestant pastor in Germany, Sigmund Schulze, who had taken this decision to refuse to go to war because of their conviction that war is radically in contradiction to the message of Jesus and to the peace building, and that we must use other means than violence in order to overcome the injustice.
Why are these women here? Why is there a sadness in their eyes?
Before the Hitler regime came to Austria in 1938, there was already a comparatively small group in Austria. It was quite active, but then, of course, all pacifist movements, or all groups that stood for human rights were dissolved, and many, like my father, were persecuted.
Why are the soldiers here? Their faces fix like stone. Can't see what it is that they despise.
The people who were involved with IFOR, did they have to go underground? Did they produce publications that were somehow disseminated?
Surely it was a very difficult time. My father had worked for Polish-German reconciliation because between the two countries there had been many wars.
Right.
And there was the danger that new hostilities would break out. And so for 10 years in the 20s and up to the beginning of the 30s, he was responsible from Vienna to work for this reconciliation. So he was persecuted for this reason, and secret police came immediately to our home and raided the home, and my father was eliminated from the chamber of writers, so he was not allowed to do any professional work. So he was blacklisted, more or less the term that we use in the United States. He could only work in hiding, and without giving his name. It was very difficult.